What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Candid Convos. I'm your host, Quay Price. We got Chloe on deck. Say what's up to the people, Chloe.
Hey everybody, we're back.
Yeah. We had to sit down for a minute last week. A little rest and recoup, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, we appreciate everybody rocking with us. Like I said, I saw somebody, put the little frown faces up, you know, because we canceled the show last week. But at the end of the day, I appreciate that. Um, that's folks looking forward to the show, supporting the movement. And like I said, I always appreciate that. But I mean, we human too, you know what I'm saying? We gotta get some rest here and there. Man, like I said, once again, if you're joining us tonight, like I said, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube as well. So definitely check us out. Like I said, we're gonna probably next show we're gonna go straight to the YouTube. So let me get folks ready today. Next week we'll probably be on YouTube, so definitely come over there and join us. Like I said, we're trying to get our following up our subscribers over there. So definitely run over to YouTube, go to the Quay Price page, and drop a subscribe. Like I said, we
Why
are.
don't we give them a few minutes to do that? Let's give them a few minutes to go over it. You don't want to miss the show next week, so subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you can be notified when we go live.
For sure. We're gonna give them about 20, 30 seconds. 20, 30 seconds. Let me let them go on over there. 20, 30 seconds. All right. We gave him a quick 20, 30. Shout out to my guy, Kevin Palmer, the other KP. Appreciate you representing with us, brother. And let me shout out, while I got Kevin on here, let me shout you out. And my guy, Joey Casino. Let's say we checked out the art exhibition. And like I said, these two fellas killed the game. So definitely shout out to Kevin Palmer. Shout out to Joey Casino. I don't think he big on Facebook. He over on the gram. But definitely check these fellas out. Like I said, they killing the art game. Man, these fellas been doing this since back in elementary. Like I said, back in our Adler days. And they've been getting it in, representing the whole time. Low key, I think I still got a little drawing from Kevin sitting up back in the box, the memory box. But we'll bring that up for another time. But shout out to Kevin and shout out to Joey as well. The awesome exhibit. Much blessings to you guys as you continue on that journey.
Yes, very extremely talented gentlemen. We have to support, and lift up our community for for their talent as well. So, KP, if you want to drop you guys' socials in there so we can see your work and everybody gets a chance to see it, that'd be great.
For sure. No, most definitely. Like I said, it was good to see a lot of, a lot of cats from, that we've been rocking with since back in the day were in attendance, representing. So it was like a Adler, Bernie, Southfield, Lathrop, Southfield High reunion up in that thing. So let's say shout out to them brothers for representing and bringing the art to the people. I said we definitely appreciate it. Man, so we back for another one, back for another show. We're gonna do some quick housekeeping, then we're gonna get on into this thing. So we got a couple sponsors tonight. Um, so we're gonna do that real quick, then we're gonna get into this show. We'll do this real fast. All right, shout out to one of our sponsors. Let me throw this up just so you guys know. So shout out to one of our sponsors, Chloe Price. Keeping up with Chloe, imcprice.wixsite.com/keeping up with Chloe. So she's got links to all of her endeavors, from nails and the lashes for the ladies, the custom cigar handbags for the ladies as well. She also has a link to her prayer journal. We're going to throw that up. So she's got the prayer journal out on Amazon right now. It's only $6.99, people. $6.99. Definitely go cop that. Let's see. You can catch the link right off her site, the Keeping Up with Chloe website, the Wix site. And you can link straight to the journal. Let's say go grab you up a couple copies. Pass it around to the family, to the ladies in the family, to the men in the family. She's just providing a good platform, within the journal to, track your progress, give you some motivation, and help you move forward. So shout out to that, and definitely go support. imcprice.wixsite.com/keeping up with Chloe. And then shout out to our second sponsor, Havana Handbags. So these are custom made handbags for the ladies, made from essentially cigar boxes. So like I said, we got a lot of ladies out here who are enjoying a nice cigar, enjoying a nice cigar with their men, with the the female friends. And like I said, she's got the custom bags. Everything is one off. Everything is handmade. So ladies, definitely go check that out. Better yet, fellas, go check it out. Get something for your lady. Get some special one off. Like I said, she will not be looking like the other ladies. She will be original. So definitely go check that out. www.havanahandbags.com. www.havanahandbags.com. All right. So let me drop that down. All right, and just one last thing I'll do real quick before we get into it. Here's the link to join us on the panel. We always encourage you guys to join us on the panel live. Makes for a better show, better engagement, better conversation. You do have the ability to cut your camera off if you choose, if you're scared, as I always say. Literally take this link, drop it in your Google Chrome, your Microsoft Edge, or drop it on your Apple device, and you can join us on the stage. Let's say you can cut your camera off if you choose. So it's totally up to you, but we always encourage you to join us on the panel, keep your camera on, and let's get into these conversations. I've also got this link posted in all of the chat feeds, so you can catch it at the Quay Price page on Facebook, or you can catch it at the Kandid Konvos page on Facebook as well. And yeah, that's how we do that. All right. So we're going to get on into this show. Vince down there. Vince, you with us, man?
Good evening.
Hey, Vince. You look tan.
Hola. Hola.
Vince been out here jet set, man. I can see the tan all on you, brother.
Yeah.
Nah, I feel that, man. But you got a little something smelly over there for us, man. What you got, man?
I got the YSL. Yves Saint Laurent. Very elegant scent. I couldn't take this, with me when I went to Mexico, but it's a very nice scent, evening scent for the ladies. YSL at all your major luxury stores.
There it is. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. All right. Sorry, we got our sponsors out the way. We got our fragrance of the day out the way. So let's get on into this show. Let's get on into this show. So the topic for tonight, men, you had one assignment. Let me run that back. Topic for tonight, men, you had one assignment. All right. So just provide a little context to this conversation for tonight. Hold on one second. Let me just check something real fast. Just want to make sure everything is still good. Okay, yeah, we're looking good. All right. So yeah, just provide some context for tonight. Context for tonight is coming from the Lapeef JR show. Popular show. It's a brother out of Chicago. He's doing an amazing show on YouTube. Talking about all different types of topics, but a lot of the topics center around, of course, Black men and Black women. And the topic or the context for the night is no different. The video itself, I tried to chop it down. It's about 4 minutes, but I'm going to try to cut it down because it's kind of long. But it's going to provide the context for tonight. So we're going to get on into this, and then we'll get into the topic.
Overly occupied with that and what that looks like to our community and what that blah, 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 blah. That's been going on this whole time.
I think you're missing the point. That wasn't about it.
One at a time. Cal said something first.
Anything. Y'all are up here to make a big deal about something that doesn't need to be made a big deal about, instead of focusing on the issues in our own communities and things that would actually help people that are on, that are not celebrities, that haven't been celebrities for the past 20 years.
100% out of place. And then you try to chastise the men like you checking them. This is what patriarchy look like, guys. This is what happened whenever that you let the women rule over you. You see how she tried to son these grown men? Yes, I said son. She tried to son these grown men. Wow. But there are some more sisters that's in the mix. And this one particular sister, let's see what she have to say.
Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm at work. I snuck off. But I apologize if I'm behind, but I was listening to you guys and I was enjoying the conversation. And I think the issue that I have is when women come into men's spaces and tell men what a real man is, what a grown man is, and what a grown man should be doing. So if in your opinion, you think that Sierra's twerking is inappropriate as a mother, as a wife, that's your opinion. And if that's what men want to talk about on this Good Sunday, they should have the right to do that without women coming into their spaces, telling them in so many words that you're not being a grown man right now. And I feel like this is a big problem with Black women, and has been a big problem with Black women for years, is they believe that they have the authority to come into a man's space and kind of dictate things. So it's really disappointing, Kay, for you to come in and say, oh, well, as grown men, and they always go to, it's more important things to be concerned about in the world. What about, oh my God, this kid got shot last week. What about this bombing that happened over here? And maybe that's not what they want to talk about. So I think as Black women, and, excuse me for getting off topic. I've been trying to get into the live stream for the last 30 minutes. So I know this is kind of 30 minutes ago, but I think as Black women, there's nothing wrong with sitting back and just listening. And because we claim that we want Black men to lead so badly. And now here you have a group of Black men having a conversation and we can't even let them do that. And that really bothers me. So as Black women, if you really want Black men to take the lead, do you really want them to take the lead if you can't even sit back and just let them have a conversation without getting into their spaces? Because are men jumping into women's spaces and women's live streams, taking over their stuff? It's like, I feel like men can't have anything to themselves. They have an opinion. We got to jump in and say, oh, your opinion isn't right. Or no, that's not right. And you're not being a grown man. I'm just tired of seeing Black men being criticized anytime they do anything. So that's what I wanted to say. On here being disrespectful. It's one thing, and I appreciate that you value our opinions, but we should come on here, at least if you guys are going to allow us into your space, there should be respect. There shouldn't be a grown men don't do this, or this is what a grown man, like insinuating that you guys aren't grown men because you have.
But that's not what happened, Ashley. That's not what happened.
JR, I was commenting on Kay coming in, criticizing you guys for talking about Sierra's twerking. And I was saying that, you know, you should basically don't allow women to come into your space and criticize you and tell you what a grown man is or what a grown man should be doing. I was enjoying my Sunday at work. I was listening to you guys. I was enjoying the conversation. But then when Kay came on, I've never called this show in my life, but I was so mad at work. I'm like, I'm going to step outside. I'm going to call into this show because I feel like from a woman's perspective, I wanted to help you guys to see that this is part of why women don't respect men so much. It's because of what you guys allow. You allow disrespect.
Let me say this.
All right, my bad. So that's the video that's providing the context for tonight. Man, you had one assignment. Okay, so just to kind of summarize, the gentlemen were on the show, and the topic of the night was, Sierra and her twerking. And the conversation really was centered around the fact that it is not a good representation in the Black community. Yeah, we already know that we got a huge, I'm going to call it an epidemic, pandemic. I don't even know what you want to call it, but we got a whole plethora of twerking going on out here. And to keep it a buck, it is not a good representation for our community. It's not. And in this particular conversation, Sierra was just the context for the conversation. But I'm sure we've all seen a plethora of videos with these, these ladies twerking at the brunch. I just saw a video the other day of a young lady performing at a high school. And then a lot of the fellas were in the gym, and she just broke down and started twerking in front of all the little fellas. And I'm just like, this stuff is so out of hand. So the fellas were having a conversation about it. And a young lady came into the conversation by the name of Kay. And she wanted to tell the fellas that, that's not something they need to be concerned about. That's none of our business. This lady is a celebrity. Russell's a celebrity. So we shouldn't be worried about that. We got more important things to be worried about. Is people dying, the schools collapsing, all of that jazz, right? But then the young lady jumped on and she made some valid points. And we see that a lot. We see a lot where women will come into conversations and want to dictate the conversation. We also see examples of ladies, wanting to essentially check men or call it what it is. It's just a little chastising going on, right? Where we want to talk about, because men are doing, having a conversation about whatever it is, that they not being grown men, or that grown men don't do that and all this type of nonsense. And she essentially called it out. But she made some good points, which is what triggered the conversation. And she said that as men, we allow that to happen. And I wanted to lock in on that. Because even in this video, listen, I had to chop it down. It's a long video. Even in this video, even after she made that point, the fellas still did not acknowledge that point. Yep, they did not put the reins around that situation based off of what she said, because I said that is a valid point. And she also made another point as well, that this is why we see some of the lack of respect that we see from our women in our community because of these things that we allow to happen. So yeah, I want to get y'all input on this topic. Do you see these things? How do you feel about it? I said, we're gonna get into this conversation. I got some more things, that I want to say and put on the table, but just want to get y'all input on it. Vince, Chloe, either one of y'all kick it off and then we can get into it.
Well, I do agree with I think her name was Ashley. Ashley. I agree with her. I did get a chance to watch the whole video, and the gentlemen they were speaking on just, the whole Sierra topic of conversation, just kind of speaking from a male perspective, how they view that. And, the other woman, Kay, she came on with this energy. Like, she came on instantly with this very aggressive energy, saying, oh, well, you guys are grown men. There's more important stuff going on in our communities. Of course, there are more important things than just if Sierra twerks are not going on in our community. But from my understanding, they weren't just simply talking about Sierra twerking. They were talking about what this looks like, what those types of images being put out to the world as what we are about as a community and how that's received. Like, they were actually having a wider conversation and just using that as like a talking point, like how we do using these videos as a talking point. But it always opens up a broader conversation. That literally is what they were doing. And she, reduced it down to just them talking about Sierra twerking. Like, that was really the goal of the whole conversation, and it wasn't. 2, she was very accusatory when she came on. Instantly, it was insults. And this is another tactic that I see from a lot of really aggressive women, is the insults, right? Like, the insults are almost immediate. Like, it's coming in with this really aggressive energy, and then it's, you're doing this, you're not doing this, and you're supposed to be a grown man. Then they start to talk down to you, right? This is like the belittling. And I'm a woman, and I've seen women do this. They do it to their Black male friends. They do it to their Black male cousins and family members, and they do it to their significant others, and then they do it to their Black male children. This is a real problem. It's a real thing. And I guess for me, we need to address that. Women, why are you doing that? But this conversation, we're talking about the men. Men, why are you allowing that? And I asked that question because the men in that conversation, they coddled the aggressive woman. They coddled her. And the host of the show, he was the one in the corner, Lapeef Jr. He almost tried to kind of make an excuse for her at one point, which is why at the end, Ashley came back and said, well, I'm speaking to you, JR. I'm saying that you need to stop allowing women to come into yours, to your spaces and tell you what you're not supposed to do, what you're not supposed to say, or how you're supposed to conduct yourself. And then could accuse you of not being a man. This woman literally said that. And she tried to say, I didn't say that. Yes, you did. You said you're supposed to be a grown man, but ... And yeah, we need to address that attitude and the energy from women and why women in general are resorting to that. But let's talk about, as men who are supposed to be the leaders of our community, why are you allowing that energy? Because just like a man will only do what you allow, a woman will only do what you allow. So you can just not entertain that. Like, Jared could have been like, nope, shoot, mute, or don't come on the panel with that. Like this, there's a way to handle this. This should not be allowed. Like, women, we can't say we want to hear from our men. We can't say men don't talk, men don't speak. They don't ever share their feelings. And then when they do share their feelings and when they do start to speak, we say, you're supposed to be a grown man. Don't talk about that. Don't say it like that. Don't do it like that. Like, it doesn't work that way. We can't say we want our men to be leaders, and then when they step out to lead, we say, you're doing it all wrong. It doesn't work that way. And men, I understand that society has supported this narrative with women, that men are toxic and narcissistic and misogynistic And I get that that's the world we're living in right now. Men are just horrible people. I understand that's the narrative, but you guys don't have to you don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept that. All men are not toxic, narcissistic, and misogynistic. What about women being misandrous? Like, we need to stop that. And I know a lot of narcissistic women. So I would just say I'm at the point now where I'm really solution based. I don't mind talking about the problems in our community because we need to raise awareness. But at the same time, what's the solution? And men, if you don't want women always coming into your spaces like this, then don't allow it.
Facts. You want to say anything, Vince? You good, man?
Oh, yeah, I have a couple things to say actually. As far as the twerking, that always takes me back to the Chris Rock spiel that he said that the number one thing as a father is to keep my daughter off the pole. So that always makes me think about the twerking and keeping our daughters off the pole. But as far as the issue that we're talking about today, Chloe, you hit on something, and the Godfather Kevin Samuels said it was sign language. So then also I think that there's so much disrespect for the black man in general, especially in the family, because there is no black man in leadership there. So I've experienced this a few times. I had an issue at Planet Fitness one time when one of the young ladies at the front talked to me like I was a child because she thought I had left a piece of paper on one of the machines, and she said, "I'm not your mother. I'm not gonna be picking up after you." I said, "Hold on, lady. Who you think you're talking to?" You know what? Okay, I'm sorry, I left a piece of paper, but you pull me to the side and say, "Sir, can you make sure you pick up that paper?" I demand respect. I'm paying your salary.
Right.
And I had to check her on it, and she was just stunned. And I was like, I could be your father. But so many of these young people don't have fathers. They don't even. So what? You could be my daddy. I talk to him like that. He ain't S. I don't want to cuss on your podcast, but you understand what I'm saying. It's such a low level of respect, even for authority. I always go back to that story of the young man from Cass Tech, the football player, who the security guard asked him to take his hat off. And he didn't take off his hat, and he body slammed the security guard. I don't know if you guys remember that. He was a star athlete at Cass, and there was so many people like, well, no, it was take his hood off or something. And why did he have to take his hood off? Because the security guard asked him to take his hood off. He didn't have to explain to him why. That's a man in authority. He's a child. He should have took his hood off. But it's so many people that pander to these kids, and it's a lack of respect for their own parents. So why should they have any respect for you? And as far as in these relationships, I have to be honest. Early on when I was dating my wife, and her past experience has been sometimes talking to her male friends a certain type of way, and I'm a I'm an alpha male. I'm a grown ass man, and we had a situation where she said something to me, and I pulled this to the side and I say, "Let me tell you something. My mother don't talk to me like that. My mother knows when to be quiet. So, I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that. I know you probably not used to, but I can go home. I'm not driving your car. I got a place to stay. I can go home." And she looked, and from then on, we've never had an issue. But I think so many men, especially men of quote unquote status or quality, they just tired and they really don't care. So you don't hear a lot of the men that could say something, that got the receipts to say something. They just, because they're usually in a good place. So they really don't care about the problems of the world. And they always tell me, Vince, why you care so much? What difference do it make to you? You happy, you travel when you want to, you got a beautiful wife, you got kids. Why do you care what's going on? But I always say I have children that's coming up after me. So I have to be concerned for their well-being. But and I think that also we have to put some onus on the school system and the church. A lot of the morals, a lot of the respect I gained from church, from the deacons, from the mothers in the church, from the deacons telling me, pull your pants up, son. Take your hat off here in the church, son. Yes, sir. No, sir. You know, I couldn't walk around and talk to the pastor and deacons any old kind of way, or the mothers. And the sisters couldn't either. You know, girl, you need a slip on. I can see your legs. That dress a little too short for church. Baby, you got a little too much makeup on for church. Baby, that shirt a little low. Your cleavage is showing for church. Son, those pants, I can see, you know. But it's got so far as you can't say nothing to somebody. You can't judge nobody. You can't. And I don't know where we're going with that. So that's my spiel on that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna say this. I'm in a I'm in a lot of these conversations, right? And this video, just circling back to the video, this video got real for me. Because for me, this video revealed where a lot of our problem is coming from. Thus the title for tonight. Men, you had one assignment. Yep, and that assignment that I'm talking about with that title is to lead. Yeah, message to my fellas. We're gonna have to dial it back. Yep, all of this nice stuff we out here doing, we gotta pull that back. Yep, all of this coddling that we out here doing, we gotta pull that back. Yep, all of this not being vocal for the sake of not hurting somebody's feelings, we gotta pull that back. Yeah, when I look at the outcome that we are seeing today, yeah, fellas can't even have a conversation without some type of out of orderness taking place. Yep, and for me, it's because men are not leading like they're supposed to. Yeah, men are not setting the tone on what is going to go and what is not going to go. Like, that is a lot of the problem that I am seeing. Yeah, we got men taking the back seat, trying to ignore this stuff, trying to act like we not seeing this stuff. And it's just getting out of hand at this point. Yeah, but I gotta bring this back to us. Yeah, we got one assignment. Yeah, we literally were created to come out here and lead these communities. We literally were created to lead these families. We literally were created to lead the wives, the children, the structure. And we ain't on top of that. Yeah, but now everybody running wild out here. Let me call it what it is. Everybody running wild. Yeah, everybody's doing whatever they want to do with no consequences. Everybody is running around with no standards. Yeah, going back to Vince's point, when he mentioned the church and the deacon, that was a man. That man was telling you to pull them pants up, young fella. Yep, around that man, I'm sure, was a helpmate woman. He was having them same conversations with the young ladies. Sis, where's your slip at? Sis, loosen that outfit up a little bit. This ain't the time and the place. But for me, that all starts at the men leading. You have the men taking their position, the men setting their tone. Yeah, man, the stuff that I see these days, I got to keep it a buck. It's going to get to the point where everybody ain't going to make it. They just ain't going to make it. Yep, it's a lot of folks out of order these days. Fellas just ignoring and coddling this mess. And it's all over the place. Yep, and at this point, like I said, I'm putting it back to the fellas. Yeah, we got a role to play, and we are not successfully as a whole. Let's say, because I know we got individuals out here holding it down, handling their business. But as a whole, we not out here doing what we're supposed to be doing. Yep, and just something as simple as a talk show, a podcast, where we got a situation going on where some behavior needs to be called out, some behavior needs to be checked, and we just breeze over it, which will only support and continue the incorrect behavior. That's a problem. Yeah, so that's where I'm at with it. Like I said, at the end of the day, everybody ain't gonna make it. Yep, so I am calling us and on the fellas and all the fellas who can hear my voice, who watch this show. It's time for us to step it up. Yep, the structure is just non-existent at this point. Yep, it's time for us to restore the structure. It's time for us to get stuff back in order. Yep, and if somebody does not want to align with the structure or your direction as the leader, like Vince said on the last show, check please. Everybody ain't gonna make it. Yep, they're not. But at the end of the day, fellas, we got a job to do. Yeah, we got one assignment.
I mean, I would like to ask the ladies. I know we're talking to the men, but from a female perspective, hey Rodney. From a female perspective, I would like to know what would ladies like to see from our men. Like, what would you like to see if we're saying that, we want men to lead, but then we're struggling to trust them, right, to lead us? Then I would ask a lady to articulate, like, what is it that you feel? Because you have the men's ear, like we're talking to men. This is the show where we're talking to men. So ladies, what would you like to tell men about the leadership or their lack thereof? What would you like to see them do? Where do you feel they're dropping the ball in terms of leadership, or in terms of stepping out for you to feel like you're protected, like the men in our community really are protecting us and leading us? If there is something that you feel specifically men are doing, then I would like for us to have that conversation, because it's one thing to say, men, we want you to step up. And there are some clear ways where men should step up, obviously. But as women, if we feel that our men don't understand our feelings, they don't understand our position, they don't understand what we need from them, then we have to tell them. So I would really like any ladies who are watching the show, to just provide anything that they feel they seen lacking in the leadership from our Black men. Anything. It could be one thing that you've said to yourself, man, I wish our men would do this more. I think it would be interesting to offer that and have Black men speak to it. Put them on the hot seat and have them speak to that. That's the only way we're going to move forward or have any kind of progress. I think that's, instead of just talking about the problems.
Okay, we got a comment. Shout out to IT. You should have been on phone here, IT.
Hey, Nicole.
She said, "When to stop coddling their moms." I see a lot of mama boy activity.
What does that look like, Nicole? Like, what does it a man coddling his mom look like? Like, what kind of things does that look like?
She might have too much typing.
If you have a follow up, or if you want to get on the panel and tell us what that looks like.
Let me throw the link up there for you, Nicole.
I'm curious, but that's one. But that's one. Maybe if some other ladies would like to drop something else in the comments so that we can actually talk about these things and have this conversation, because
she said no decision is made without his mom's opinion. Hold on, let me ask this question to Vince. Vince, you ever not made a decision because of what your mom said?
No, but I understand what she's talking about. I come from a single parent household where I never knew my father. My father died when I was 1, so it was just me and my mom. I don't necessarily think I was a mama's boy because my mother was not the typical mother. My mother had 1 child, and I'm surprised she had me. My mother, if you want to go somewhere, catch the bus. I'm not taking you nowhere. You got a bike. You can cook. My mother taught me how to cook. I was out of the house in college at 16, and I never went back. Because me personally, I always wanted my own. So I understand what she's talking about, but there's some onus of the mother coddling and raising her son to depend on her. That's the imbalance and the dysfunction of the single parent household. The mother's responsibility is to nurture, but the father's responsibility is to provide direction and instruction. So especially as a boy growing into a man, if you don't have that direction and that structure and you only have the nurturing, then that's the result. Even with my situation now, I have 2 stepsons, and I have to constantly get on my wife about letting them do stuff, making them do stuff. We're raising men, not raising no punks. We're raising men. We're raising men that are going to understand that whatever it is, it's always going to be your fault. No matter what happens, it's always going to be your fault. So understand that in the beginning. I had an issue. I had a conversation with someone the other day about when to put your kids out. And I said for Black men, because a lot of people say, well, other cultures let their kids stay till they're married and yada yada, but it's a different structure. They're a community. The fathers are home and there's a plan. It ain't just stay here and you'll figure it out. It's a plan. I know my daughter-in-law. I know her people. I know it, so it's different. And I think for our Black men, they need to get out as soon as possible so they can understand the responsibility and know that it's their responsibility. I think it's 21. If we've set them up and we've raised them to where they can take care of themselves. I always think a young man at 21, if you got a job, you can take care of yourself. You go get your little 1-bedroom apartment somewhere, a little studio apartment, and you work from there. And I think our Black men definitely need that because we haven't had the structure and the responsibility that other cultures have had. So I think that you have to blame that on the mothers raising these men.
Okay, I feel that. I feel that. Let me get a couple of these comments. Nicole said, I understand the presence of the mother, but at some point her priority changes when a man claims he wants a wife. So yeah, Nicole, I can agree with that, right? So that's a part of the man evolving, right? But I also think that what Vince said kind of ties in, and also what Shantae said as well. I think we do have situations where some of the mothers play a part in how that young man is raised, especially in some of the single mother households. And I think sometimes there can be a dependence that's established, right? Because like I said, I've been hearing some stuff lately, and I'm starting to see some validity to it. I've been seeing that, folks have been saying that some of these moms or some of these single moms are raising their sons like he's their man, or like he's their husband. So I could see, if that's the case, how a man would leave his mother's house as he's moving towards a relationship and a wife, and still have a dependency on her opinion, if that's how he was raised. And it seems like that is a thing, as people have been talking about it more and more, like that's going on. I've even seen some footage of a mom fighting with a girlfriend or arguing with a girlfriend because she didn't like how the girlfriend was essentially trying to get her wife on with the son. So the mama was like standing up in the middle of that thing, causing friction, and it's almost like she didn't want the son to leave because he was her man, if you will. So yeah, when it comes to that space, we got a few things going on. Let me also get this comment from Rodney. Men, not punks. I agree. Definitely, Rodney, agree with you on that as well. And Shantae said, some mothers love their sons and raise their daughters. And I think there's some validity there as well.
I agree.
Yeah, I think there's some validity there as well. So I can't disagree with that one. And then IT, she said, yes, it's terrible. Yeah. I said, so it's a lot of stuff going on out here. But yeah, at the end of the day, we still can't make excuses for it.
So do you think, the ladies in the comment section, right? I don't know if you ladies were here at the very beginning when he played the video, but so I'll just ask it like this. Ladies, do you think it's appropriate behavior for us as women to go into spaces that are dominated by men, conversations that are dominated by men, and then dictate what men are saying, feeling, thinking, discussing? And how much of that should we be putting ourselves into? Like, how much of that should we be trying to control? I'm asking that question because I'm thinking solutions, right? Like, obviously there's a communication breakdown between Black men and Black women. There's a lot we're not saying. There's a lot on both sides that's not being said. So we actually have to have the conversations and sometimes say the uncomfortable things, both parties, so that we can actually have some progress. Because I just feel like, have these conversations. Now is the time for us to say all this stuff, as opposed to waiting till you get a group of men who are trying to have a conversation and really trying to talk and communicate. And then we come in and say, well, no, not this way, or not like this, or don't say that, or don't talk about this. It's only okay for you to talk about that. So I'm curious, for the women who are a part of this conversation tonight, to just kind of, how what does that look like? Like, is this how we should be doing this, where we're coming into spaces and making men to feel like well, to feel inadequate in some way, to feel like when they do communicate, when they do speak, that somehow it's not okay, it's not right, it's not enough. Should we be how much control should we actually have over this? This is what I'm saying. I'm basically saying, ladies, how do you want it? Like, let's be honest about this thing. Let's get down to it and figure it out and stop playing, so we can actually make some progress.
I don't know. I said Nicole said as much as needed. Sound the alarm.
What do you mean by that? I guess I don't understand. What do you mean?
Nicole, break that down.
Break that down.
I think the better question is, and I'm just gonna go there. Ladies, do you want him to be the man, or you gonna be the man? Let me just pop it off, because that's what I keep seeing. Even going back to the video. Yep, the young lady Kay who came into that conversation, she wanted to come in and be the man on a panel full of men. Yep, and the second young lady who came in and called her on it, identified that and basically told her she was out of place. And that was not her position. And that was not her job, not her responsibility, and she shouldn't have been doing it. It was disrespectful. This is the conflict that I see. I see a situation where women say that they don't trust men to lead because deep down inside, they want to do the lead and they want to be the man.
Wait, can you replay the video? Can you replay the video real quick? I think it's important if we're going to have this conversation for the ladies present to get a full context. So even if you just play the snippet of it, that'll probably be helpful.
Okay, I'll do that. It's not a problem. Not a problem.
Overly occupied with that and what that looks like to our community and what that blah, 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 blah. That's been going on this whole time.
I think you're missing the point. That wasn't about it.
One at a time. Cal said something first.
Y'all are here to make a big deal about something that doesn't need to be made a big deal about, instead of focusing on the issues in our own communities and things that would actually help people that are on, that are not celebrities, that haven't been celebrities for the past 20 years.
100% out of place. And then you try to chastise the men like you checking them. This is what patriarchy look like, guys. This is what happened whenever that you let the women rule over you. You see how she tried to son these grown men? Yes, I said son. She tried to son these grown men. Wow. There are some more sisters that's in the mix. And this one particular sister, let's see what she have to say.
Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I'm at work. I snuck off. But I apologize if I'm behind, but I was listening to you guys and I was enjoying the conversation. And I think the issue that I have is when women come into men's spaces and tell men what a real man is, what a grown man is, and what a grown man should be doing. So if in your opinion, you think that Sierra's twerking is inappropriate as a mother, as a wife, that's your opinion. And if that's what men want to talk about on this Good Sunday, they should have the right to do that without women coming into their spaces, telling them in so many words that you're not being a grown man right now. And I feel like this is a big problem with Black women. It has been a big problem with Black women for years, is they believe that they have the authority to come into a man's space and kind of dictate things. So it was really disappointing, Kay, for you to come in and say, oh, well, you know, as grown men. And you know, they always go to, oh, it's more important things to be concerned about in the world. You know, what about, oh my God, this kid got shot last week. What about this bombing that happened over here? You know, and maybe that's not what they want to talk about. So I think as Black women, and, you know, excuse me for getting off topic. I've been trying to get into the live stream for the last 30 minutes. So I know this is kind of 30 minutes ago, but I think as Black women, there's nothing wrong with sitting back and just listening. And because we claim that we want Black men to lead so badly. And now here you have a group of Black men having a conversation and we can't even let them do that. And that really bothers me. So as Black women, if you really want Black men to take the lead, I mean, do you really want them to take the lead if you can't even sit back and just let them have a conversation without getting into their spaces? Because are men jumping into women's spaces and women's live streams, you know, taking over their stuff? It's like, I feel like men can't have anything to themselves. You know, they have an opinion. We got to jump in and say, oh, your opinion isn't right. Or no, that's not right. And you're not being a grown man. I'm just tired of seeing Black men being criticized anytime they do anything. So that's what I wanted to say. On here being disrespectful. You know, it's one thing, and I appreciate that you value our opinions, but we should come on here, at least if you guys are going to allow us into your space, there should be respect. You know, there shouldn't be a grown men don't do this, or this is what a grown man, like insinuating that you guys aren't grown men because you have.
But that's not what happened, Ashley. That's not what happened.
JR, I was commenting on Kay coming in, criticizing you guys for talking about Sierra's twerking, and I was saying that, you know, you should basically don't allow women to come into your space and criticize you and tell you what a grown man is or what a grown man should be doing. I was enjoying my Sunday at work. I was listening to you guys. I was enjoying the conversation. But then when Kay came on, I've never called this show in my life, but I was so mad at work. I'm like, I'm going to step outside. I'm going to call into this show because I feel like from a woman's perspective, I wanted to help you guys to see that this is part of why women don't respect men so much. It's because of what you guys allow. You allow.
All right. So yeah, so that's the video that we're talking about right there. Let me get this other comment that Janine dropped. She said, I don't think some women want to be the man. Some men may not know how to lead because they may not have seen that action in the home. Mama assumed the position. So Janine, just to respond to this comment, and then I'll go a little farther. So if that is the case, then why do we assume that women have seen what leadership looks like?
I was just gonna ask that. How would a woman know if there's no dad there? Like, and how would a woman know how a man should lead? Even if you like, how would you know how to tell a man how to lead? I'm just asking. I'm just curious.
Oh yeah. No, I understand. Because like I said, what we see is you know some of the women wanting to lead, and then essentially saying that they don't trust the men to lead. So my question with that is then how is the woman, where does she get her example of leadership from? Yeah, so that would be my question to that, because at the end of the day, if the structure is we're looking for the men to lead, then once again, where is she grabbing her example from? You know, when she essentially measures him up to what she thinks leadership looks like. I'm just curious on that. Let's see, Janine also said in essence, Daddy, the head, wasn't in the picture or left the picture, and now the sons don't know how to assume the role as the head or leading blindly. The right woman will help that man in his role, and from there step back, give and take. See, even that, Janine, I got questions around that, because what we are seeing is women will want to assume that role and then don't want to step back.
Yeah.
That's where the
Yeah.
excuse of they can't find a man they can trust to lead. That's where that excuse comes from, because they don't want to step back. Because see, essentially what will happen is a lady will get or assume that role, which I don't think that role is natural.
It's
But she
not.
would assume that role, and then get comfortable in that role. Yep. So when a man comes along, she a lot of times will struggle to relinquish those responsibilities or relinquish that role to a worthy man. And like I said, we see plenty of examples of that today. So yeah, I got a couple questions around that, Janine. Let's see. Shante said, "How do we coexist if we don't talk it out in their space?"
So I wanted to respond to that. So to respond to Shantae, I would say we could talk it out, but that's not the energy that Kay came with. The energy she didn't come with, hey, y'all, I know y'all over here talking about the Sierra thing, but I just wanted to say, like, we have talked about the Sierra thing. You know, do y'all think maybe we could like raise up some different topics, because this topic, we just beating this topic, down. And that's not the way sis came on. Sis came on like doop doop bop 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 bop. You ain't grown. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sick of this. We got babies over here dying. That's how she came. She had a completely different energy when she came. She didn't come to the table wanting to have an actual productive conversation. She came in telling them right off the bat how wrong they were, how they weren't acting like grown men, and what they should be talking about. That's the energy she came with. This is what it's about, ladies. Like, we can't ask men to communicate and express themselves. And then when they start expressing themselves, we say, not that way, not that topic, not like that. That don't work. It don't work, because that's why men, you know what, y'all, that's why men don't say nothing to y'all. That's why they don't talk. Why would he feel comfortable to speak to you when that's what he get? Ladies, I love y'all. All of y'all legitimately love Black women, love Black men. Like, I love my people. And so I'm sitting here saying, like, ladies, you cannot teach a man how to lead. You cannot help him be a leader. The best thing a woman can do for a man is to support him. The best thing a woman can do for a man is own her role. If a woman owns her role well, even if that man does have some deficiencies, he'll catch up. Might take him a little longer than the next man, because he didn't have what that other man had, as an example. But he will get there, especially if you are playing his help me role. And he may get there faster because you're playing his help me role. But that doesn't look like leading him. It never looks like you leading him. It never looks like that. That will not work. You can't top from the bottom. Okay. That don't work. You never go into it thinking, well, I'm just gonna help him lead. That's they don't work that way. So I mean, I think that maybe if we shift our mindset about how we even look at these things, then we won't be going into conversations where in men's spaces where they're trying to communicate and articulate themselves, telling them they wrong for what they saying.
She dropped a comment. She said, "What if he feels he doesn't need help?"
Need help? What do you mean? I mean, he needs you to be his helpmate, not his teach him how to lead partner. He needs you to be a support system. A man needs that. I mean, I guess that's a unique situation. I've never came across a man that has been like, I don't need a woman to support me. Like, I've never heard that. So if he's saying that, that's that. I don't know how to address that one. I've never personally heard men say they don't want women to be their support system. I believe men know that they are much more productive when they have a strong woman in their corner. The right kind of man, the right kind of man knows that that is essential for him to have the kind of life that he wants to have. Right? Yes, a man can have he can be single and all of that and be successful and all of that. That's not what I'm saying, but a man knows to have the kind of life that he wants to have, he needs a strong woman in his corner. Period. Most men know that, right? It's up to us as women to understand that what that looks like, right? It doesn't look like, no, it doesn't look like you can't never say nothing, you can't talk, you don't get an opinion. It don't look like that. You're not a slave. That's not what it looked like. So if a man is asking you to do that, that's different. No. But what it does look like is I allow that man to lead and I support him. He's the head and I'm the neck. So we both play very important roles. They're just different. They're different roles. And I can't teach him how to do that. Like I can't teach him how to lead. I will never be able to understand what it's like for a black man in America to lead. I will never understand what it's like to be a black man in America just living.
And let me say this too, to the ladies. A true leader is not going to always have the answers.
Right.
Like I'm starting to feel this energy. Like we just expect these fellas to just have all the answers and just have it all figured out. Like I'm hoping that we realize that leadership throws curveballs every day. Yeah, but at the end of the day, a leader can find a solution. Yeah, you're not gonna know it all right out the gate. Yeah, he ain't gonna just have all the answers right out the gate. Yeah, sometimes he might catch a curveball straight left field. But it's what he does with the curveball is gonna represent the real leadership that's inside of him. Does he take the curveball and run from it, let him hit it hit him in his back? Or do he catch that thing and send it back the correct direction? Yes, I think we, you know what I'm saying, for the ladies, I think you have to take that into consideration. Like I said, I'm starting to feel like the ladies just want these dudes and their leadership skills to just be perfect out the gate. And that's not even realistic. And like I said, I'm sure Vince can agree with me on this. Like you ain't gonna always have that thing figured out. But it's what you do to provide the solution. Yep, as the leader of a household, it's gonna be something new coming at you every day. If it be something going on, somebody messing with your kids, somebody messing with your wife, somebody messing with your mama, it's always something. But it's about how you handle the situation and what solution you bring to the situation. That's what really shows the leadership from that man. And listen, ladies, y'all got to trust that. At the end of the day, y'all got to give that fella a chance. Like, I got to give him a chance to figure that thing out. Go ahead, man.
I think that also too, we got to be intentional, and we got to judge people based on the character. I think a lot of women don't really take the time initially to really judge, to really see the signs, to really evaluate somebody's character before your feelings get involved, before the sex, before all that. Because once the sex come involved, you start to dismiss a lot of things. And I think, ladies, I think a lot of that is that you haven't had anyone to teach you about a man's character. I think the media, I think these movies have desensitized us to where black women think they're the black man's savior. You know, they got to come in and put him together and get his hair cut, get his teeth fixed, you know, find him a job, get him together. And usually that doesn't work. You usually fixing them up for somebody else. And I think that what we really, and you can see a lot of, especially when you get older. When you're younger, everybody's struggling in their 20s trying to figure it out. But once you get 30, 35, you should know a man's character in the first couple of days. What is he really doing with his life? What is his real goals? And are they really able to be obtained? You know, is he living in his mama's basement? Is he living with a friend? Is he driving your car? Is he comfortable with driving your car? See, that's different. Sometimes people can get in a tight, you know, whatever, but is he comfortable driving in your car? If he comfortable driving your car, he ain't nowhere. If he comfortable living with you in your apartment or your house, and he like, ooh, I'm comfortable here. I don't have no plan to get to get our house or get our car, then that's character. But a lot of y'all don't want to ask the questions because you don't want to run the man off, and you think you might be too invasive. Yeah, you need to be invasive. You know, and you need to, it's a lot of with this dating and courting thing. It's a lot of things that we do just absolutely ass backwards. Excuse me for saying this. First of all, if you don't want the man, don't go out with him. If you don't like him, you don't think don't go out with him. Don't go out with a man that you're not attracted to. Because all this, well, I wasn't attracted to at first, and he grew on me. Because as y'all go, he's going to see what you like and the thing, and then he's going to adapt to that. And then it becomes the game. You understand what I'm saying? So we have to start judging people based on character, based on real character, real things. You know, a lot of these women want to say this, but then if I ask 2 or 3 questions deep, you shouldn't have never dated him in the first place. You knew he was living with his mama. Oh, but he was fun, or it was just Netflix and chill, and it didn't really mean nothing, and that wound up being your baby daddy.
That's real. That's real. That's real right there. That's real right there.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't make this shit up.
Y'all heard it.
That's real. That's real, man. That's real. Yeah, no, and then the other thing is let me say this to the ladies. I know we probably eventually creeping at that time, but let me say this to the ladies. Ladies, it's okay to be uncomfortable sometimes. Yeah, letting a man lead and following a man's leadership is not always going to be comfortable. Yeah, but at the end of the day, a real man, a real leading man is going to be making decisions off of what is best for the family. Yeah, but I think that's playing into this as well. I think the ladies want to feel the comfortable roses and bubbles when this man come along, and that's not always how that goes. So we got to keep that in mind as well. Everything is not always going to be the most comfortable. So just keep that in mind. Nakia, you with us?
Peace. Yeah, can you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's on your mind? What you want to say?
Awesome. Hey, y'all. Thank you for having me on stage. I was scrolling on Facebook and I said, it's time for me to chime in. I got to give my 2 cents. But it sounds like, if I could just catch up, it sounds like you all are just talking about the expectations of the man. Is that what it is, or what's the question?
Yeah, so it's a mixture. So we're talking about, partially what men have been allowing, right? So lacking in leadership, so allowing certain things to take place that should not be taking place.
Yeah.
Like I said, too, we're also talking about the fact that men have not properly been in their leadership position. So that is kind of how we've gotten to where we've gotten as a society. And then 3, we are also talking about women supporting men in their leadership and what that needs to look like, or what women want to see from men in their leadership in order for them to support and go along
and follow.
with this.
And see, I just had to chime in because it's really something when you start to uncover the veil yourself. And I would say, as far as the first question you mentioned, I remember my partner, he was talking about like, oh, I was trying to figure out why did the temperature change in our relationship. And he had to explain, well, things were not on my terms when we first connected. And I never understood that, just to share a little bit behind it. He came to, we were parenting our kids together in my household, not his household. And so he explained that we started off on the wrong foot. And of course, as a woman, I'm like, how could that be so? This is perfect. This is how it needed to be. And that's not really how it should have been. It should have been on his term in his household, and we were to follow. And a lot of women might disagree with that, but that is just the order of how things should go. And yes, we do have, I saw Nicole chiming in, that's my twin, had to show some love and come on stage because we were raised under the same household. And there are just some things that I've learned and some things she hasn't. And that's really just because we're a product of our environment, of really well-spoken women. Women have taught us to speak up and not stand down. And when we look at being in a relationship with a man, we need to stand down. We have to learn our discipline, and they are the leaders. And respectfully, so yes, the men have to show us where they are leading us, but that is the foundation. Yes, they are to build our confidence, but still, my partner has said, hey, you don't even trust me. And I said, what is that? I'm just processing things myself. And I really had to come full circle and say, you know what? I didn't trust him. And so I can't blame if we haven't made it, to marriage yet, because I haven't demonstrated that I do trust him. So there are so many areas that we have to work on based on the environment we've been groomed in. There's room for change. And that's really what I wanted to come on and say to women with, and looking to be in a relationship, because you have an increase in women wanting to be independent. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to be that one. I don't want to be rah, I'm that independent woman. No, we need the men in the household to get back to the foundation and the structure for our children. And we have to be able to reflect on how our ways are hindering that. And so that's really what I have. And we can build on that, and I can go from there.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, those were a lot of valid points. And I think the part that I think some of our ladies are missing is when everybody is in alignment, stuff flows so much smoother. Like it really does. Like when the woman supports the man and the man leads, like stuff is so much smoother. And to your point, Nakia, the woman no longer has to be this independent, I can do it all by myself. Like she no longer has to do that, because she will now be covered by that leading man. And now she can focus on the things that are important, or the things, the values that she brings to the relationship. Nakia, I do got a question for you though. Based on something that you just said. So you said that when you sat down and thought about that thing, you didn't trust my man.
Yes, I'll tell you a little backstory. It was with the car, in other ways too, but it was with fixing that car. And he was under there for hours and hours and hours. And he said, you don't trust me. And after hours, he finally did get it done. And I had to think about it like, had he listened to me, we would have took it to the shop and spent $1,000. But, the lesson was have the trust, have the confidence in me. And I had to think about it. I was never raised around that. I never saw a man mowing the grass, because we stayed in a townhome where the maintenance people did that. I never seen a man fixing on his car. Never seen a man changing the wheels. My grandma always told us to go to the shop and pay top price, So just just things like that. Situations like that is where we have to demonstrate trust and confidence in our men, because they don't know either. And that's kind of what I was looking when I was reading Nicole's comments. Patience. We have to exercise patience with ourselves and our men, because they have trauma and things they've endured, and they're learning also. So it's not going to come as a perfect package. Ask your question now.
No, that's it. That's it. Like I said, I just wanted to see where that was coming from, and like I said, you gave a great explanation. And like I said, I'm sure a lot of ladies out here share in kind of in that thought, right? But to your point, he don't have all the answers either. Like I said earlier, leadership is not perfect. If a man leading a family, he's not going to have all the answers, because he can't predict everything that is going to come his way. He don't know what's going to pop off as soon as he step out the door to go to work or go to run the business or whatever. He don't know what's going to happen. He don't know what call is going to come in, from the school with the kids. He don't know what call is coming from, his wife or the young lady he's, dating. He don't know what's coming, but he has to respond accordingly once those things present themselves. Yep, and that's why I say that the trust is very important. You have to trust, and like I said earlier, be willing to be uncomfortable. Yep, leadership has never been comfortable. Ask anybody who leads a team, who leads a household, who leads a family. It's never comfortable.
I agree. And one thing he says often is, my power doesn't corrupt. And it's something so small, but I need that confirmation. And I encourage, women to receive confirmation like that if they ever have a man telling them that, because it's good for a woman to be reassured, especially one who may have not had the father in the home. And so reassurance is what I get when he says my power doesn't corrupt. I'm not here to change you. I'm not here to make you someone you're not, but structure is what I see you need, and them kids. So I'm all receiving. We have to be open and vulnerable to receive.
There it is. There it is. And I appreciate that. Let me get this comment from Shantae. She said, I used to call my ex a triple A ass Negro because he would never apply himself. He always wanted to call someone to do it. I didn't like that. It made me look at him a certain way. What you think about that, Vince? What you think about this comment, man?
You should have picked better.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. She should have picked better. Is that what you're saying, man?
Should have picked better. We all should have picked better.
I agree.
I mean, he just didn't start, what would she say, applying himself. He just didn't start not applying himself. You just didn't ask the right questions when y'all first started dating before you got your feelings involved. Men do the same thing. You go over there, the house is nasty. You go over there, it's rat droppings on the stove, but just because she got a nice little body and you want to hit that, and then she wind up being your baby mama, now you want to complain because she don't cook for the kids. Should have picked better. It ain't just one-sided. I'm not bashing women. We all should have picked better. You should have went over there. That stove wasn't clean. You should have head out the door, but you wanted, what we all want, a little attention. And I should have picked better my first time. I wasn't thinking about wife. I was just, we love each other. We got a baby, so we should get married. I should have picked better the first time. So, because there's not many, and people kill me with this whole, where he just changed up. And I'm a type of person, okay, if you say that, I'm going to ask 2 or 3 questions. And then they be like, oh, wait. I asked 2. I said, okay, well, the first date, you drove, he drove. I drove. Well, did you ask him where he worked? No. Did you ask him where he lived? No. Did you ask him what his goals were before you slept with him? No. So after 6-7 months, then it's, oh, but he don't want to work. He wasn't working when you met him. He didn't have a car when you met him. He didn't have a place when you met him. He wasn't taking care of his kids when you met him. He didn't have no license when you met him running for child support. Did you ask him why he don't have a license? If you're on 16 in Van Dyke and he in Detroit and he's scared to come out there, why are you scared to come out here? Oh, well, my license ain't right. Why your license ain't right? I got warrants and I got the. Okay, well, all right, I'll talk to you later. But see, we don't want to do that. We want to, oh, he cute. Oh, he's sexy. Oh, she fine. Oh, she this. We all should have picked better. That's what I got to say. Should have picked better.
Okay. I can appreciate that, man.
That's a show topic. We need to talk about that thing.
No, y'all know. Like I said, this is a real show right here, right? Like I said, so we ain't
I didn't want to say it, but I gotta keep it REAL, brother.
Oh, no doubt. Like I said, that's what we do on this show, man. Like I said, we don't play no games on this show. Like I said, we keep it a buck. Like I said, the kid gave us some great points, some things that we learned. Some ladies may not want to hear what the kid had to say, but she dropped some great, accurate points. You know what I'm saying? The point that Vince just made about how we just out here picking whoever based off some feelings and who's sexy and who thick and all this, that's a valid point. Yeah, people do that every day and then are upset with the outcome. I mean, like I said, this show is real. Yeah, we don't sugarcoat nothing on this show. We ain't doing no fluffing on this show. Like, this is a real show with real topics from real people of different ages who done experienced a little bit of everything. So, like I said, it's all real on this show. So, like I said, ain't none of that funny stuff on this show. Let me get these comments. Shante said, I thought I could motivate him, not change or lead, but motivate. We got to touch that too. We got to touch that too. Let's see. Erica Arrington, she said, definitely need a show talking about how to pick better. For sure. No, we definitely got to do that topic.
We got to do that show.
For sure. And then Shante said, I second this because I got a story to tell. Okay. So I see what the next topic gonna be. But man, it's a little after 10. We'll probably get ready to wrap. Yeah, like I said, we wanted to do this show because, once again, we wanted to speak to the men. Because like I said, based on some things that I am seeing, the men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing right now. They got one assignment, and that's to lead. And they ain't doing that right now. At the same time, as the men start to get their act together, or as they are getting their act together, we need the women to play their part in it as well. Yeah, so when these fellas are out here being vocal about what needs to change or what the direction needs to look like, we need the ladies to support. Yeah, when these fellas come along to get with you and build a family and provide the structure to the family, we need the ladies to trust these men. Yeah, but trust when I tell you, when all these things align properly, it's so much easier. Yeah, it really is. Let's get these closing statements. I said this one went for a minute. I'm gonna go to the ladies first. We're gonna hit Chloe and the kid, then we're gonna slide to Vince. So Chloe, you wanna say anything closing before we get out of here?
Yeah, just 2 points, right? So just piggybacking off of some points that Nikki had made earlier. Like, ladies, it's accept your covering. Accept your covering. Like, allow, thanks, Erica. Thank you. Accept your covering. Like, allow that man to cover you. That's what he's supposed to do. And believe it or not, men want to do this. They want to listen. If they're the right kind of man, there's some not the right kind of man out there. But the right kind of man wants to own this role. He wants to come into your life to enhance it. He wants to improve it. He wants to be your covering. He wants to protect and provide. He wants that. He wants to do that. You have to be able to allow him to do that. Ladies, we're tired. You know why we're so tired? Because we're running around here chasing our own tail. And men are saying, I do want to be in your life, but you can't tell me to be in your life the way you want me to be in your life. It doesn't work that way. I'm coming into your life. I'm going to provide structure. You say you're tired. Okay. I mean, I got you. I'll come in. I'm a help. But then when I come in to help, you telling me I'm not doing it the right way. Don't do it like this. You want it like this. You'll submit to me only if I do this. All of these conditions that come along with it. You want the man to be traditional in his thoughts and ideals and his morals, but you want to have a very modern mindset. You cannot be independent and be in a relationship. Those two don't even go together. Being in a relationship requires you to be interdependent. So if you walking around saying, I want to be independent, then you don't want to be in a relationship. It don't work that way. You can be an individual, but you can't be independent and be in a relationship. It doesn't work. So I want ladies to really like think about that. Is this really what you want? Okay. It does not matter if you're 35 and you hit the wall and sexual marketplace value. If you can get your mindset right, if you can get your mind right, there's a man that wants you right now. There's a man that will accept you right now. Get your mind right, ladies. There is a black man right now that wants you right now. But you trying to be independent and, well, he got to lead me a certain way. And, well, I cook, but it got to be like this. And, well, can we? You already know how you want y'all life to look. And it just don't work that way. And then my last and final point is, ladies, we need men to speak. We need men to speak. It's not okay that as a society, men are speaking they literally have to go out and create a whole manosphere. Now, understand that some of this is propaganda. Some of this manosphere, womenosphere is propaganda. Okay. Some of it is it's propaganda. They're doing it for the social media. But at the end of the day, there is some validity to some of these arguments. And at the end of the day, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Y'all know I say that all the time. Like, don't go into spaces where men are actually trying to communicate and want to dictate. You can be a part of the conversation, but don't go into spaces where men are actually voicing their opinions and then you want to dictate it. You want to tell them how they should speak, when they should speak, what they should say. But then turn around and say, I want a leader. And I would say, men, stop allowing that. Stop allowing women to come into y'all spaces and tell y'all what y'all gonna do, when y'all gonna do it. And see, ladies, don't be butthurt when the man say no. I lied. I'm gonna say a few more things. When men say get in the gym, get your fat butt in the gym. Period. I'm just saying, no. I'm speaking for myself. Y'all ain't the only ones. I set up and gained 15 pounds during COVID. Straight up. Now I'm working out 5 times a week. Say less. When a man say he hungry and he wants you to be able to cook a meal, learn how to cook at least 2 or 3 dishes, ladies. He ain't saying it got to be Morton steak dinner style. Like, stop bucking just basic foundational things just because you can. A man is telling you, I'm gonna come in and help you. Right now, you cooking all the time anyway. You cooking, you cleaning, you doing all of the stuff by yourself. A man is saying, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna relieve some of the pressure, but yeah, can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do that? Y'all acting goofy. He ain't asking no hello. This man is saying get healthy. So ladies, let's really take a look at what we're bucking and why we bucking. Does it even really make sense? And if you're so tired, black woman, you know what I'm saying? Get in position.
There it is. We're gonna slide down to Nakia. Nakia, you still there?
I'm here. Chloe got me fired up.
You want to say anything in closing?
Yes, I just really agree with what Chloe is saying. We do have to humble ourselves, and once we do, there is a man out there for us. And I'm learning that myself. I've learned that because of my circumstance and environment, I've had to operate in my feminine and masculine energy. My partner has called out the masculine energy, and I have to own it. I understand why I act that way. I understand why I act that way because my environment forced me to. But now there comes a time where I don't have to, and I have to release that masculine energy and allow him to act in that while I act in my feminine. And so to the ladies, I just want to encourage that. We have to sit with ourselves and evaluate. We don't always have the right answer. I'm a talker. I love talking, but I got to shut up sometimes and listen because there may be a message for me, So I just want to encourage the ladies to sit with themselves and self-evaluate. And yes, absolutely figure out what you really want. Do you want to be led or do you want to be the leader? Because if you want to be the leader, you don't want a man. And as strong as, people may see me on social media with the kids, I want a man and foundation. I want to cure that what I didn't have. I want to give my children what I didn't have. And so just encouraging the ladies to sit with themselves and self-evaluate. Give the men patience because we need patience also. And they will be patient with us if we make it a safe space. So I love y'all and thank you for having me. Oh, wait. I do have my friend here, Kia. So we Kia and Kia. And so we popped in tonight. She wanted to give you all some words also.
Hello, peace and love to everyone. Peace and love. I was just really chiming in on the conversation, and something that just really stood out to me is I'm just listening to everyone share their different perspectives. A couple of things that I wanted to go over. First and foremost, we as a body of people, people in general, Black people, Black men, Black women, we are all in survival mode. Okay. So first and foremost, if you want something to thrive, you have to increase your frequency, right? So that means that you have to be coming from a state of living. When you're coming from a state of living, that means you're being true to yourself, you being one with your divinity, as opposed to you being in survival. Okay. Now, when you coming from a survival space and you're interacting with, whoever, you're in a relationship with, whether you mean to or not, the ultimate goal of survival is to protect, right? Is to protect, to make sure that you are in a comfortable space. Now, I'm going to transition this to the women. With a woman, if you are operating from a masculine space, first and foremost, let's talk about the divine feminine, okay? If you are being divine feminine, right, that means you're operating from a place of patience. You're operating from a place of nurturing. You're operating from a place of empathy and understanding, compassionate, right? Like these are the traits that a woman needs to possess. Think about it. When you bear children, women are naturally grown with these specific traits for a reason. It's vital for the world, right? Think about what Oshun did for us, right? What space was she operating from? Was she taking her time to be combative? Or did she say, you know what, I'm going to take a step back, and since you think you got it, I'm gonna show you my worth just by simply being exactly who I'm meant to be. Right. So when we think about that also in terms of being a woman. I'll say this. I get so much more from my significant other when I know how to talk to him. I'm communicating from a place of understanding. That means I'm actually taking the time to listen to what he has to say. And this is crazy because so many of us think that we do. And I had to be completely honest with myself and said, this is the first time I've actually allowed myself to operate from this space where I'm actually taking the time to fully listen to what he has to say. And before I open my mouth to respond, I'm actually taking the time to digest it and then comprehend. So that way now I'm operating from this space where I'm able to effectively communicate. And I'm able to talk to him, and he's able to come and see my point of view. We're able to share perspectives because you'll realize, especially if you're in a relationship with somebody and the feeling is mutual, that a lot of times you guys, you're on the same team, right? So it should be you versus the problem. It should never be you versus one another. Right? If we have the same end goal, then ultimately, babe, this is a situation that we're dealing with. What can we do? How can I? And that takes time for yourself. Women, you have to be receptive. A lot of us can't take constructive criticism. That's just the reality of the matter is, And so if this is a man that you're expecting to, be your leader, be your protector, be able to teach you things, how you going to be taught if you refuse to listen? In order to listen, you actually have to come from a place of discipline. And unfortunately, most women do not have that. It's not even just women, but us as a body of people. Unfortunately, we just do not have that because we've been in survival mode for so long. And we can say all day long, I could have picked the right person, and I should have done this and I should have done that. Well, see, first and foremost, you're thinking outside. I challenge you to think in. Instead of thinking that you should have picked the right person, let's take a moment and say, how can I become a better version of myself so I can attract what I want, what I deserve, so I can attract that type of man? First and foremost, picking someone for your team, there you go again, operating from a masculine trait. Stop that, and that's just something, it was on my heart to share with you guys. Like I mentioned, I'm just listening, but there's a means of we need to repair, right? We need to repair. We need to learn what it is to be a woman, how to operate from that divine space. And unfortunately, people have put a bad name on it. Now, God forbid you decide to honor and worship your man, you're called a pick-me now. Right? You're called a pick-me now. So now I'm a pick-me because I choose to honor and respect the man I lay next to every night. That makes no sense to me, But yeah, ladies, I challenge you, just take a step back and start little things, right? It's not going to be an overnight transformation. Take little time, right? Even when you're in the house with your mate, right? Take time. I understand sometimes like I got so much to do. I got this, I got that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When me and my man is in the house, specifically if it's just us, I'm likely gonna wear something nice, something that's easy on the eyes for him. I'm going to wear something that makes him comfortable. I'm going to, and this is, and it's not that I'm just necessarily trying to seduce him. I want him to know that he's in an environment where he's welcome at all times. And whether that means physically or sexually, however way I need to be welcoming, I need to let sure my man knows that he's nurtured in the correct space. Right. And so that's why I say it starts with little things, the way that you upkeep with yourself, the way that you communicate, the type of music that you listen to, everything, it goes into it. So take a step back, figure out something, and just got to be honest with you. You're really going to have to do some shadow work and dig in and just say, okay, why am I not my best version? And then, if you got a good partner who really want to grow with you, ask him, baby, what can I do to improve? And then actually listen to him and make a conscious effort to adapt those new behaviors. I love you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Kia so she can go ahead and close you guys out.
Thank y'all. Kia and Kia. We out of here.
All right.
Peace.
No, we appreciate it. Like I said, valid points from both of the kids. Like I said, valid input for the ladies. So like I said, there's been so many great points dropped tonight. And like I said, a lot of these things need to be absorbed and put into play. Because I said, these are those things, those foundational things that we all need to, to help turn this thing around and get stuff back on track. So I appreciate all that input from the ladies. Let me go up to Vince. Vince, what you want to say in closing, brother?
I'll be quick. I just think a lot of times too that because we don't come from marriage, we don't come from men in the house. I would suggest that some ladies find them the type of men that they really want, the type of men that they respect, and talk to them, men that can be honest, that can really tell you the truth. Because so many times I talk to so many ladies that they don't have these conversations with men, so they really don't know what men think. The first real relationship they have is with their boyfriend. It's not with a father or a grandfather or uncle that they respect and that can really teach them about these relationships. And also, I think that sometimes, like people of our age, we just got to forgive ourselves and understand we did the best we could with the knowledge that we had, but we need to get more knowledge. I think a lot of us stay stuck on those decisions that we made in the past instead of just understanding those were decisions that we made in the past. We made them for whatever reasons, and let's just move on and try to do better.
Facts. No, I agree with you on that, man. Well, man, shout out to everybody joining us tonight. Like I said, awesome show, powerful show. A lot of gems dropped tonight for the ladies, for the men. With regard to relationships, repair, getting ourselves together. Like I said, and ultimately being the best version of ourselves. Powerful show. So shout out to Erica Arrington. Shout out to Nakia. Shout out to the other Kia. Shout out to Chloe. Shout out to Vince. Shout out to Shantae Williams dropping her comments. Shout out to IT. Nicole representing. Shout out to Janine Martin. Shout out to my guy Rodney. Shout out to my guy KP. This is Kandid Konvos. We do this show every Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time every Wednesday night. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. So definitely go over to YouTube to the Quay Price page. Drop a subscribe. I think we'll do our next show over at YouTube. I think we already got the topic based on the comments. But like I said, once again, we appreciate everybody rocking with us. Definitely share the show, like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, we want to get this great content and these great conversations to as many of our people as possible. And man, with that being said, everybody have an awesome night, and we will catch you guys next Wednesday.